Most people think parks are harmless. Open spaces, trees, trails, places where families laugh, joggers pass by, and children play. But the truth is far darker than anyone wants to admit. When the sun sets and the last visitors leave, parks become something else entirely. A place where the missing are never found, where shadows move without wind, and where something ancient still hungers beneath the soil. Tonight's story will take you into one of those parks. A place you might have visited, a place you thought was safe. After hearing what happened there, you will never walk through a park at night again. Elias had always loved night walks. The quiet soothed him, and the nearby Evergreen Park had become his refuge after long work shifts. On the night everything changed. The air felt heavier, as though the darkness itself was watching him. Still he ignored it. The moonlight barely cut through the thick canopy, but he knew the paths by heart. He noticed the first strange thing near the old wooden bridge. Footprints. Not human. Not animal. They were long, wide, and pressed deep into the soil, spaced far apart as if whatever made them moved unnaturally fast. Elias crouched studying them. His phone flashlight flickered, and a cold breeze slid across his neck. When he looked up, the trail ahead had changed. The familiar dirt path he had walked for years now split into two. But Evergreen Park only had one trail in this section. He stepped back confused. Both paths were identical, stretching into a darkness thicker than the rest of the forest. Then a sound whispered through the trees. A woman crying. Elias felt an instinctive jolt of dread, but fear for someone else pushed him forward. He chose the left path, calling out gently, but the crying only grew fainter. After 5 minutes, he realized something was wrong. He hadn't reached the clearing he expected. Instead, the trees looked older, twisted, almost swollen, as though fed by something unnatural. The crying stopped. For a moment, everything was painfully silent. Then a whisper crawled through the dark. "You shouldn't be here." Elias spun around. No one. Just the impossibly dark path and the sense that something was slowly moving out of reach of his flashlight. He turned back toward the direction he came from, only to find there was no path behind him anymore. Only trees. Endless shifting trees. Panic began to rise in Elias's chest. He tried to steady his breathing, telling himself he must have gotten turned around. Forests played tricks on the eyes, especially at night. But the trees, they were wrong. Their branches curled downward like skeletal fingers. Their trunks bulged like they were swallowing something from beneath. He kept walking, hoping to find any sign of the park's normal trail. The air grew colder the deeper he went, as if the night itself thickened around him. Then he heard it. A second set of footsteps, slow and heavy, matching his pace. He stopped. The footsteps stopped. He stepped forward softly. Behind him 1 step. Elias didn't dare turn around. Some primal instinct screamed at him that whatever was behind him wasn't playing. It wasn't hiding. It was watching. He walked faster, heart pounding. Branches cracked under invisible weight. Leaves rustled without wind. A faint clicking sound echoed from the dark, like sharp nails tapping wood. When he finally forced himself to look back, his breath caught. Something stood behind a tree. Tall, impossibly tall, its limbs too long, its body too thin, like someone stretched a human silhouette into a nightmare shape. Only its face was visible, pale, hollow, and smiling with a mouth that didn't belong on anything living. The eyes were the worst. Black, bottomless, hungry. It tilted its head slowly, observing him with a curiosity that felt personal. Elias stumbled back, tripping over a root. When he fell, the creature took a single step toward him, a step that covered nearly 5 meters effortlessly. He scrambled to his feet, running into the forest as fast as his legs allowed. The creature didn't chase loudly. It didn't need to. Its steps were slow, deliberate, but somehow always close behind, like it was inches away no matter how far Elias ran. Then he saw something through the trees, a dim light. Lamppost. Civilization. He sprinted toward it, lungs burning. As he neared the clearing, the creature made a sound, a low, rumbling hiss that vibrated in his bones. But the moment he stepped into the lit area, the footsteps stopped. The forest went silent again. Elias collapsed onto the grass, gasping, staring back into the darkness. The creature stood just beyond the tree line, where the light couldn't reach, smiling, watching, waiting. The next morning Elias returned, not out of bravery but necessity. He needed proof he wasn't losing his mind. Daylight made the park seem harmless again. People jogged, families picnicked, children chased each other near the playground. Nothing hinted at the nightmare he escaped. He followed the trail toward the wooden bridge. Normal. Too normal. The night before seemed like a fever dream, until he saw it. A tree near the bridge, its bark split open, revealing deep indentations. Finger marks, huge ones, as if something had gripped the trunk and pulled itself forward. Elias felt sick. He wandered further, searching for the mysterious split path. But no matter how far he walked, there was only one trail unchanged. No twisted trees. No impossible path. Nothing. Until he saw a backpack lying near a stump. Old. Weathered. Worn. Inside were two things. A child's jacket and a missing person flyer dated 8 years ago. The photo showed a little girl with bright eyes and pigtails. The same girl whose crying he had heard last night. His skin crawled. He pushed further into the off-trail area. The deeper he went, the more the forest changed. Not like before but still wrong. Roots jutted from the ground like veins. Tree trunks had strange carvings, spirals and symbols that hurt to look at. The air smelled of decay. Then he found something that froze him in place. Shoe. Pink. The same one the girl wore in her missing photo. Before he could move, the wind shifted, carrying the faint sound of a child's voice. Help me! Not far away. Elias followed the voice, stomach tight with dread. The trees grew thicker, forming a tunnel of branches overhead. Then in a small clearing he saw her, the girl from the photo, standing with her back to him. She wasn't breathing. She wasn't moving. She was waiting. Elias stepped carefully, not wanting to startle her. But when he called out softly, she didn't react. As he moved closer, he realized something horrifying. She wasn't standing. She was being held upright. Long, thin fingers wrapped around her shoulders, blending into the shadows behind her. Slowly, a shape emerged, the creature from the night before. Taller in daylight. Pale skin stretched tight over bone. Its mouth smiled too wide. The girl's lips parted, but the voice that came out wasn't hers. You came back. Elias stumbled backward. The creature gently lowered the girl to the ground, as though she were nothing more than a puppet it no longer needed. Its voice echoed inside his mind rather than through the air. They all come back. Curiosity feeds them to me. Elias turned and ran. The forest blurred. Branches whipped his face. He could hear the creature moving this time. Fast, impossibly fast, cracking through trees, closing in. The sunlight dimmed. Path twisted. The park shifted around him like a maze rearranging itself to trap him. Then daylight. He burst onto a familiar trail, nearly collapsing. The forest behind him fell silent again, as if nothing had happened. But the girl's shoe lay in the dirt beside the trail. And the creature's shadow stretched across it, retreating back into the trees. Elias never returned to Evergreen Park. But others did. The disappearances continued, quietly, unnoticed, buried under excuses. Lost hikers. Runaways. Animals. The truth stayed hidden. Weeks later, Elias awoke one night to soft tapping on his window. Like fingernails. Low. Patient. When he pulled back the curtain, nothing was there. Only the reflection of the trees outside. But on the glass, smudged with dirt, was a small handprint. Child's. And next to it, a larger one, long and skeletal. Elias realized something that made his blood run cold. The creature didn't belong to the forest. The forest belonged to it. And once it chooses you, never stops watching, never stops waiting, never forgets your scent. So the next time you walk through a park at night, when the wind goes silent, when the path looks different, when you hear footsteps that don't match your own, don't look back. 'Cause if you do, it will smile and follow, just like it's following Elias, just like it might be following you.